Hello everyone, this is going to be your full moon in Scorpio psychic astrology reading. It's occurring on May 12th, 2025, 12:56 p.m. Eastern, but times will vary depending on your location. This is a psychic or intuitive reading, so while based in astrology, there's definitely messages and downloads and usually a few songs that come through from my guides as the reading progresses. You're watching vickieverlie, and I am the Rock and Roll Prophetess on YouTube, and you can find me at vickieverlie.com. Do not be fooled by imposters. I won't be messaging you on social media about readings or anything. Those are all fakes. It's rampant for me or anybody else. So just be wary. Always go to the source. In my case, that's going to be the vickieverlie.com, my website. Okay, now let's take a look here. This is the full moon in Scorpio. It's conjunct Juno, which I didn't quite get, but right away we look at the sun as conjunct Uranus. So it's opposing, it's making a lot of aspects actually, but this is the big news, this Uranian energy. I feel like many people, if you want to use this energy, you could really be free of something with this Uranian energy coming into place. Something that with the Scorpionic energy, maybe something that was sort of underground, deep. There's this deep, dark, mysterious kind of energy surrounding, the Scorpio energy. And Juno is in there, and there's this also this kindness. It feels to me like Juno is coming here, and she's coming up and saying, hey, Scorpio. She's like putting her hand on your shoulder. Hey, Scorpio. You don't have to carry that heavy burden anymore. It's okay to let that go. Because another thing that Scorpio is known for, and they can hold a grudge. I mean, Scorpio, you can hold on to this embitterment. That can be a part of the Scorpio nature. Believe me, I know, because I have a lot of Scorpio. I have to remind myself of that, But it's almost like Juno's coming in and, hey, sister friend, let's chill out. We don't have to... you don't have to carry that burden anymore. You don't have to carry that, you don't have to hold on to that anymore. You could be free of it right now. You could be free of it right here, right now. Right here, right now. Yeah, you could just let it go, and we're going to help you. You got all this energy lined up and in line, and you could really be free of it and let it go. And you don't have to be so hard. It's like you could be a little softer. You don't have to be so hard. You don't have to be so, not rigid, but hard. And hard on other people, but hard on yourself, too. You don't have to carry that burden. That's very much the energy that I get out of this. Now, the moon itself is doing all kinds of things besides Juno. It's trining over here with all this Pisces stuff. We've got the North Node. Ceres has joined in the mix, and Saturn all together here. And it's making a big trine to there. So Saturn can also bring about these heavy burdens. Saturn in Pisces has this energy of sorrow. I'm hearing that, a man of constant sorrow. I'm not even going to try to sing it. It's like I am a man. It's from that movie. But it was a song before the movie, too. The movie with the... Oh, boy. Somebody can leave it in the comments. The brothers or something. They're on a journey. It's based on some other thing. It's really funny. I think it's a Coen Brothers movie, maybe. But it's really out there. But I'm a man of constant sorrow. So, and Saturn could be the man too, but this energy, this Saturn in Pisces can be kind of like this wallowing or just feeling Saturn's so heavy and it's in Pisces and it's like trying to swim with wet clothes on or getting out of if you jumped in the water with all your clothes on, then it's just this, this wet blanket, there's this wet blanket kind of energy about it. And there just seems something so bright. And then this 22, this master number too, something about that's really grabbing me too. The 22, it just feels like there's this 22 energy, like that's that master number, that's that higher, taking it to the higher level. Because of course, we all know Scorpio, there's three things. There's three expressions of the Scorpion energy. The scorpion itself, which will bite and sting you with its little tentacles. That Scorpio. And then in the middle is the gray lizard. But then there's also the eagle. The eagle is the highest. Boy, have I been seeing the eagles lately. Well, there's all kinds of videos of them nesting everywhere. I guess, and if you like something in an algorithm, it'll come up again. But I've been seeing, I saw a real one. I've been seeing real ones for the last couple of years. I never saw a real one in my life other than at the zoo. for my whole entire life until a few years ago when I started really seeing those eagles, and I've been seeing them pretty frequently. So, and then I've been seeing them on social media while I'm scrolling, which, as I always tell people, even if you're not an outdoors person, or you're not able to get outdoors, things that pop up in your social media over and over again are messages from your spirit guides and messages and things. So there is, there's always a way for the spirit to come through. But so this is like taking it lighter. Maybe not even the ego, because the ego's also so like powerful, but there's a lightness about it. There's something that lightness, and again, it feels like Juno's coming in. And again, this Juno coming in and I keep seeing like the hand on the shoulder, like you're okay, it's going to be okay. You can set down those burdens, but also the energy could be, I keep circling that and erasing it. Sorry if it's annoying. But the energy can also be like, you're not alone. Because that's another thing Scorpios will do too. Scorpios and Aries are big on that. They're both, well, Mars is the ancient ruler of Scorpio. I'll just do it myself. I don't want to burden anybody. I can just figure it out, and I can just do it myself. And it's like you don't have to walk alone. There's help. There's help from you. And maybe able to dispel some of this. There feels like there's sort of a lingering energy of depression again, and this wet blanket stuff over here with all this heavy Pisces stuff. It could also, because the North Node is involved, and Saturn to some extent too, but particularly the North Node, which is our true North, or we see the why of it all. Why me? Why did this happen to me? Wallowing. Well, this could be revealed, I feel like, on this Scorpio full moon. It could be revealed exactly why you had to go through these different things, these trials and tribulations. Look at all my trials and tribulations. Do 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 do. I can possibly will think about us when we die. A little off there. That's from Jesus Christ Superstar. I always thought I'd be an apostle. Not sure what to make out of that one. Well, this martyr thing, the age of Pisces was the whole Jesus. That was, he suffered, and he died on the cross. That's that whole, I'm sure there's many beautiful things about Jesus' teachings and all that. I'm not putting them down, but this was the age of Pisces that we've been in. It's been this, the suffering for our sins and all that kind of stuff, that heaviness. And the Uranian energy coming in, which is the age of Aquarius, we've got this Uranus. That's what grabbed me so strong right away, was the Uranus. This coming in telling us, this could be, it doesn't have to be so sad or so deep or so whatever. And things that people say or do, you don't have to take it to heart. You can be lighter about it. I just noticed, looks like there's a yod here too. The 23 is going there, yeah. Got a yod. So the Scorpio's at the end of the yod. And we've got the two other points of it, of course, are the Chiron and then the Jupiter. Very different energy. Chiron is all about our suffering and everything. I'm hearing that Tori Amos tune. What is it? Got to have my suffering so I can something. Maybe, is it why do we crucify ourselves? Why do we crucify ourselves every day? I crucify myself, and nothing I do is good enough for you. Something like that. I haven't listened to that in ages. I love her. I love Tori Amos. But so this is the suffering and all this stuff. But the Jupiter, and especially Jupiter in Gemini here, is this lighter energy. Like, let's not take it to heart. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe they didn't mean anything by it at all. Because that's another thing that Scorpions could do. Because Scorpio energy is so intuitive, and they see so much. But they can see, like, what did you mean by that? There's always some hidden, underlying, thing going on. And sometimes, what's that? Sometimes a something is just a something. Is it a duck? Sometimes a duck is just a duck. I don't think it's a duck. But sometimes it's just what it is. It's just something they said. There's no deep, dark, underlying meaning to it at all, Not a duck. Somebody have to leave that in the comments. Sometimes a something, and a duck is just a duck, meaning there's no conspiracy, there's no deep, dark, underlying thing. There just seems to be this really lighter, brighter energy, or the light at the end of the tunnel kind of vibe going on with this whole chart here. What else do we have? I saw the Venus was trining Mars too. Well, we're still coming off this Neptune-Venus conjunction. It's still in a wide orb conjunction of this. That something really cool happened to me on that day, and actually, it was for my daughter. Did something really. I'm not going to say what, but she did something really, really nice to me for me, and I was like, I wonder what this is going to be like, the Neptune going on, because my daughters have twins, and their moon is 0 of Aries. So they're having Neptune go over their moon. I was like, geez, I hope I don't croak, you know. Well, I don't know. But, you know, it could be a lot. I was just wondering how that was going to pan out for them. And it panned out on her one of my daughters doing something really sweet and nice for me. It really helped me out a lot. So, and it was sort of unexpected. You know, I didn't ask for it. She just did it of her own volition. You know, I had speaking of my daughters and the 0 Aries thing, you know, I had a C-section, which I always wondered about that. Anybody have any thoughts on that, astrology? Maybe we could do a whole video on that at some point, you know, because then they decided when the babies were coming out, you know. Because, you know, who knows, they may have been a whole nother day. Because here's the thing about the moon in your chart. The moon is the way you see your mother. So they see me like an Aries, which I think is so, but I mean, I could see how it's true, but that it would be so much more like that I would be the Pisces in the chart, you know, the spiritual and all the stuff I'm into, or then even, you know, the Taurus, you know, the earthy mama, garden, food, creative stuff. So I always wonder about that C-section interfering with their birth times, but, you know, but it's 0 Aries. One thing that came to me about that, it's 0 Aries, and a lot of people have told me this, and my daughter used to say she was the mom. Other people used to tell me this when I get readings at the psychic fair. We do trades. They'd say, you know, you guys have been together, but sometimes you're the mom, and sometimes one of them is the mom, or whatever. So this 0 Aries, like we're starting a new cycle where I'm the mom. This, you know, this karmic cycle around. That's the way I kind of, you know, reckon that 0 Aries moon that they have, but any thoughts on that, I'd always love to hear too. But we've got, this is still happening. So there is still this dreamy vibe. I'm hearing groovy kind of love. We got a groovy kind of love. Groovy kind of. Yeah, so there's this groovy kind of love happening in the air. And this 1 degree is still out of sign conjunction with all this Pisces stuff here, ruler, Neptune ruler. But whenever there's a Venus trine Mars, there's an opportunity, especially if it's at 8 degrees of Aries and 11 degrees of Leo. So if you have your own Venus Mars placements or anything, you know, around those degrees or in those signs, fire signs, often it could be, you know, falling in love, meet somebody. Or if you're already attached, it could just be having a great day together. You know, you're having a great day, you're in a great phase of your life. Even though it's a full moon in Scorpio, to me there is very much an air of lightness about it. Maybe it's because the Uranus is on the sun, I don't know. Or the Jupiter being involved with the Yod, you know, I don't know. But just going on vibes and feelings, it feels very much light. Not like a Scorpio, not like a typical Scorpio energy at all. Like being relieved from that, from the oppressive energy that can be the Scorpio nature. So serious, so punishing on themselves and others, you know. So, you know, that it doesn't feel like that to me at all. It feels really different. Here's another big one that's happening. We've got the Mercury squaring the Pluto at 3 degrees, almost to the minute. Look at that, 348 to 346. So there's this Mercury square Pluto in the fixed sign. So, you know, and there you could even bring in Mars in the make a T-square. Do we have something over here? Yeah, Lilith, oh boy. So there goes that light, airy feeling right out the window, right? So it could just be, you know, people could be confrontational, sure. Somebody could be getting on your last nerve, sure. Fixed signs, not wanting to compromise, not wanting to say you're sorry, you know, not wanting to, you know, like the dog with the bone they're showing me, you know, you just can't let it go. Some people just can't let it go. But I feel like there is an opportunity to let a lot of stuff go right now. It depends on where you're coming from. You know, if you're going to be very much in the earthly body and be, you know, everything about is really happening and this is right and I'm right and you're wrong. And if you're going to, you know, cop to that and you're going to acclimate to that and you're going to latch onto that energetically, philosophically, whatever way, then yeah, you might be getting into some arguments and stuff. That's definitely possible. But here's the thing, the arguments can't be solved. These are things that aren't going to be solved. So why exude energy into it? Why not do your own energy? You know, just expand your own energy field. But with the Venus Mars, you know, you could meet somebody. I'm picking up, some of you could meet somebody at some kind of like a political rally where people are all up in arms, you know. Yeah, well, da da. There was chanting going on. Da da da. I don't know what they're saying, but I'm hearing that rhythm. You know, like somebody's chanting. There's like this big group of people. And there's, well, you know, it's happening really frequently these days. And you might meet a lover there, you know. And maybe this whole thing that you're passionate about, you know, political or otherwise, environmental, that you're going to this march for, or this demonstration or whatever it is, you know, that might be the basis on what brings you together. You're both passionate about this cause or this opinion or something, you know, that for some people I feel like that could really be true. So if you are looking for love, maybe go attend a political rally. You just might find the love of your life there. Wouldn't that be crazy? But you know, you'd want to have other things involved because that can't be. Well, it could be the basis for your whole relationship. Who knows? But you know, this North Node, this whole thing with the stellium, it's the North Node. So we're being called to move forward. You know, we're being called to go to the next level. We're being called to raise our consciousness. We're being called. Scorpio is all about purging, and so we're being called to purge this energy of these burdens that we've been carrying. And not only too, because it could be the burdens of past lives, karmic burdens for sure, you know. And it goes beyond Saturn, you know, that's all that goes back. The sins of the father, like my guys are saying, the sins of the father are revisited on the whoever, the offspring or whatever the word, whatever that phrase is. Yeah, so it's a lot of different energy, but right away this is the thing that grabbed me, and this is the thing that I think I am personally am acclimating towards, or I'm being drawn towards, or I'm going towards. So you know, we have freedom, we have autonomy. You can go wherever you want to go. If you want to be down in the trenches and fighting for your cause, then you know, rock on with your bad self. Or if you want to just create an energy field of enlightenment and higher realm consciousness, there's that too. You know, so there's all sorts of ways to go with this. There's all sorts of there's a lot of different energetic frequencies happening here. But if we go by just the moon itself, the full moon I should say, you know, and look at what it is aspecting to, it is calling us to the higher ground. Still I'll reach for higher ground. People, keep on keeping. Yeah, well that's kind of a protest song, isn't it? Still I'll reach for higher ground. Yeah, reaching for higher ground. And that's, you know, that's very much the eagle energy. They just keep soaring higher and higher and higher. When the little birds are nipping at their tail, the eagle just keeps rising higher. You know, it's not gonna bother. It's like, go away. It's like us flicking a fly off of our arm, you know. Are we gonna stand there and argue with the fly? You stupid fly, you shouldn't have landed on my, what business do you have? You know, you're gonna stand there and argue with the fly or the mosquito? No. Go away, you bother me. Because we don't think about that. Or ant, are you gonna, you know, a bug lands on you, you're going to stand there and argue with them and tell them how wrong they are and how stupid they are and how you know better. Meanwhile, you're getting bit up. The mosquito's like, yeah, okay, go ahead, yeah, you can yell at me all you want, and the belly's filling up with your blood, right? So, yelling and fighting isn't really the answer, you know. You just flick it off, brush it off your shoulders, and go to the higher ground and just keep walking higher. That's the solution. And I'm hearing fly like an eagle, of course. There's a solution. You're going to fly like an eagle to the sea. It's making a square over here with the palace, too. I didn't catch that. So, yeah, that brings in, again, this warrior spirit. You know what I figured out yesterday? I feel like a lot of these aggravations that are continual aggravations that happen often, I feel like a lot of them are just universe testing me. And there was one yesterday, and I just let it go, and I was all the better for it. Normally, I would be pissed. See, I love Jeopardy. I'm a Jeopardy freak, but I can't. And here and where I live, it's on CBS, and you can't get CBS over the antenna, so you would have to pay. You know, I don't love it that much that I'm going to pay $100 for a cable package just to watch Jeopardy. So I subscribed to Paramount Plus just to watch Jeopardy. You know, basically, and Paramount Plus is the CBS local thing here. So anyways, this guy comes on, there's bad weather, and it's not even near my city. It's like way far away from the city of the news channel that he's on. He does this, they do this all, I swear they do it just to get ratings, because they come on during Jeopardy every freaking time. And other times I get so pissed. I missed the whole Jeopardy last night, but I just let it go. But other times I get so pissed and I go on social media. I start bitching at them, like, get off! I pay for this service just to watch Jeopardy, and you know, I know people have to be warned, but in this day and age, you know, because it's broadcasting on Facebook, it's broadcasting on Twitter, it may be broadcasting on Instagram, I don't know, but I know for sure that they're the same thing they're showing on the TV. You can go on Facebook, you can go on Twitter, and it's right there. You could go to their website and watch it live there. So if you're in the danger zone, here's another thing: if you're in the danger zone, chances are your power's out anyway, and you don't even have TV anyway. So, you know, usually I'll go in and I bitch every time he does this, and I'm just like, get off the air. In this day and age, there's no reason you have to be on the air. I mean, I take my Jeopardy watching seriously, because it pulls my brain back out of psychic spiritual mode. I'm so much in my right brain creative all the time. I like my Jeopardy so I can, you know, I do crossword puzzles and watch Jeopardy, try to work that part of my brain, you know, so I don't just drift off into oblivion, you know, I guess. But I watch Jeopardy every day. I never miss it. And so last night, here he is. He's on there again. And normally I'd go on social media and I'd be like, get off, and I'd start bitching. But I just said, okay, whatever. I just turned it off. And I turned it back on like 10 minutes later, and he was still on there. I said, okay, Jeopardy's a wash tonight. And so what? It is. Do I have to get all pissed off and be irritated all night long because this guy, you know, was on there with his weather maps and stuff? Or can I just, you know, is it really that big of a deal? It's like, go on, get serious. Is it really that big of a deal that you missed Jeopardy for one night? No, it's not. And I just let it go, and it was very healing, you know. And then, you know, there's other stuff too, that just constant irritations that come up and happen, and that trigger you, you know, that trigger you and poke at you. And if you continue to do the same thing, you're going to get the same result. You know, he doesn't not do it. And I've even run into him in the grocery store a couple times. I've seen him. And I was just thinking about him. I was like, next time I see him in the grocery store, I'm going to tell him that stop interrupting Jeopardy, you know, whatever. I'm telling that person, but whatever. It's so stupid when I tell the story. It sounds so ridiculous, and it is. And if you do that, if you think about half the things that piss you off so bad like that, you know, it's stupid. It matters. Does it matter in the big scheme of things that I missed one night of Jeopardy? No. But so you know, I'm working on it. It's a work in progress. We're all a work in progress. But this energy of this full moon maybe could even help you see that these things that matter not in the big scheme of things, why are you letting it pull you down? Why are you letting it tug on you? Why are you letting it make you sad or wreck your mood or just drag you down, you know? Just turn it off. Turn the station. Just that easy, you know. Turn to a different station. Turn to a different frequency, a different energy. After all, Scorpio is that death and rebirth, you know, so there is that element to it. Okay. All right, so there's a lot here. I mean, we could dive in and be here all day, but I'm going to wrap it up. And don't forget, I do have the Aries, not Aries Ingress, but the solstice, the Cancer Ingress readings available. You know, Jupiter is gone in that chart, in the solstice chart. Jupiter is conjunct that the solstice is at 0 degrees. Well, it's like 3 degrees, I think. So Jupiter is a big player in that, and we'll discuss all the astrological transits that are happening. Where, you know, all the stuff, where these big transits are hitting you. How this Aries big transits into Aries, and how the Uranus, if it's going to come up on any of your personal planets, you know, it'll all be looked at. It's just basically a mid-year astrology kind of check-in thing. So I know many people order it every year. If you want to get in on yours, you can head over to my website, vickieverlie.com, where I have different kinds of readings too. A lot of different kinds of readings. Some are more psychic tarot. As far as astrology, besides I'm offering the solstice reading now, but I also have the past life soul readings for an individual or for a couple. And what I do is I look at certain things in the chart, but then I get a lot of visions and downloads, and I describe to you your past lives and what you're working on in this incarnation and everything like that. So those are really my favorite to do, because I think they're the most helpful. But, you know, whatever floats your boat. Check it out if you're interested. And it costs nothing to hit the like and subscribe. That's always appreciated. So have a great full moon in Scorpio. Think about what we're going to purge, what we're going to let go of, what we're going to allow, what we're going to flick off our arm if it's trying to nibble at us or bite at our tails. We're going to soar above, and we're just not going to let it bother us anymore. Okay. All right, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back again with another reading soon. Take care.